enable style stuff is marketing versus sales. How do we find the line to make it work? People in marketing, thought leaders on LinkedIn, like, I don't deal with sales. It should be separate. It should never be involved. Then we complain about the assets not making sense. The content isn't driving anything, but it looks good on social, but it's not convincing people to buy. And it's just this friction. And I feel like in 2025, going 2026, this shouldn't be a thing anymore. Can't AI just fix this already?
Right.
We can stop this, but
where's my easy button?
Right. It's beyond just the P's and L's. It's a human thing. It's trying to find the right language. I would say leverage language to launch. We need to find a language that everyone can understand to come together to make a more complete 360, if you will, play on it than living in our own silos. For you and your experience and your success, what has worked with making marketing and sales play nice and actually be effective team? When a buyer asks AI for a solution like yours, does your business come up? Most companies have no idea. And by the time they find out, they've already lost the deal to someone who did. HubSpot's AEO helps you show up in those moments with the right answers buyers are looking for. Before the first click, before the first form fill, that's the moment HubSpot's AEO is built for. Check out HubSpot.com, the agentic customer platform for growing businesses.
What has helped me as a CMO today, and I think there's parallels to the sales question, so I'll kind of tackle both of those together. So what helps to become a successful CMO? I see three things, and you mentioned one. You have to understand the business. Words like P&L and EBITDA, you may understand definitionally, but to actually understand what are we as an organization trying to do? What's our end game? The best piece of advice I give everyone is start with the end in mind. I don't care what the situation is, start with the end in mind. If you know what your North Star is as a business and where you're trying to get to, and in what timeline, that's how you speak, that's how you plan, and that's how you operate. So number one, align with strategy. Not a marketing strategy, a business strategy. You have to have a marketing strategy and plan, but that's number one. Number two, and you've kind of touched on this point too, I call it storytelling. You've got to be a great storyteller. You call it building trust, and it's one leads to the other, right? I think you have to be able to tell a good story from a brand perspective, but you also have to be able to communicate effectively to build trust. So that's number two. And then number three is your team. Your team is your most important weapon, most important asset. That goes hand in hand with your ability to align with sales. But if you don't have the right folks on your team, you will not be successful. And so sometimes that means making hard decisions. Sometimes it means pushing your team outside of their comfort zone.
What's up, digital world? You're listening to the I Digress audio experience with Troy Sandidge. Social media, marketing, storytelling, business, culture, and more. Coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
To lean more into the sales piece, I think you nailed it. Having a shared language. I work with some folks who English is not their first language. And I've learned over the years that I sort of have these biases that I've had to work through where if their English isn't perfect, I'm like, do they get what I'm saying? Are we jiving? Are we aligned? I'm like, you know what? Their English is a lot better than if I were to try to speak their primary language. All that to say, a shared language is so important when it comes to sales and marketing. And so I mentioned with my CRO, we have a shared pipeline model. I'm not held to deliver a certain number, whether that's influenced or sourced. Do I track that? Yes, not as a way to defend what I'm doing, but as a way when I'm meeting with sales and we're looking at where to invest money, we know the levers to pull. Now that's just the CRO. I have the same discussions with his senior leaders. I meet with them regularly. I talk. I call it breaking bread. If you're not breaking bread with sales, you're missing the mark. And again, you have to be willing to have the hard conversations. Business, it's not always great. You will have ups and you'll have downs. You have to demonstrate that you're in it together. When you have bad months, you want them to have your back. When they have bad months, they want you to have their back. That's all it is. You have to have that long-term partnership view. I could go on and on, but at the end of the day, that's truly what it is. I met with our rest of world department this morning, and we've got our sales kickoff coming up for that region here in about a month. And I go, what am I walking into? And she's like, you know what? Things are good. The team trusts you because you outlined at the end of last year what you were going to do. You've executed on it. You've communicated on it. Did they want more? Of course, there's always going to be people who want more. You have delivered on what you said you're going to do, and you've remained visible. And for that, are they singing your praises day in and day out? No, but guess what they're not doing? She goes, no one complains about marketing. And it's kind of to your earlier point. As long as they're not talking about me, I'm in a good spot. So again, that's kind of my long and short answer on that question.
No, that lands. I want to do a sub. I would say some marketers by default lean very towards defensiveness. If you're always finding yourself being defensive of your actions and your decisions and your cadences, you're already in a bad place. You shouldn't be coming from a place of defending yourself, defending everything. It should be coming from this is what we're doing. Do you see anything that we can optimize or be differently? I invite any conversations, any inquiries, or any concerns. Kind of branch on it. How you articulate how you manage with other leaders is like poetry, if you will. And I'm not gaslighting you on being real, because I was like, man, there's some nuggets in there that if you got to rewind and hear what he just said. And I'm a big person of how people use language. Very critical with how you explain and how you articulate, because it makes all the difference in the minor detail. They really do. They really matter. And how you articulate it was just like, oh, this feels like there's so much trust, having each other's back. And how you position yourself in marketing as a leader, especially at the highest level, matters just as much, and if not more, because there's going to be seasons, like you said, that we don't have it figured out. Like, we messed up, and it's not even our fault. Again, we're navigating something many places out of our control. They can change all the algorithms today. They can change all the privacy stuff with emails today. And now we have to rewrite a whole playbook plan in a few weeks to make this work, because everything that we thought would work doesn't work anymore. Do you know how hard that is as a marketing leader? You play chess, and every time you play chess, the rules literally change, and you are still expected to win every single
That's a great analogy. Yeah.
Like, our hands are tied. What were we supposed to do? And then I'm expected to lead a whole team on top of this every day.
I know. No, it's why my kids are like, hey, Dad, do you like your job? I'm like, I love my job. Well, should we do your job? No, you shouldn't. You should go into finance.
Why we shouldn't do your dad's job?
It's so true. I mean, look, you're spot on. The rules are changing, and not just that, there's macro variables. And guess what? You're still dealing with people. It's just hard. And so I think, Troy, what I'm finding too is some of it's just blocking and tackling. It's the basics. I had a guy reach out. One of my neighbors said, hey, I just took a new job. I'm CGO. I've got a head of marketing, and I'm struggling with him. Do you mind talking to him? And I'm like, sure. This guy works totally different industry. They sell government contract stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know anything about that world, but sure. So I meet with the guy, and he starts saying, oh yeah, we've got a new boss. I like him, but I don't have any budget. I don't have enough money to do anything. And I was like, well, what words are you using to communicate that? And I'm just telling him, I have a small team and I don't have enough money. And so I opened up a framework that I presented my latest budget on. And I said, here's how I articulate it. I said, here's the business objectives. Here's how marketing is structured to add value and support growth of the business. Here's how we are going to be spending the money that we've been given, specific initiatives. Here's the return. Here's how it's basically helping to drive growth. It's not, oh, we're going to do webinars and podcasts. These are the levers we're pulling to drive and accelerate growth based on the aligned objectives. And then I flipped to the next slide and I said, if we are not funded at the level I'm requesting, this is what will be at risk. And it wasn't an emotional slide. It was we will not be able to do X, Y, and Z. And so when I presented that to the leadership team, they're like, got it. So we're at risk if we don't invest in these areas. Is there any sharpening of the pencil you can do? No, I've already, and they knew the answer. Like, I've already sharpened my pencil. Of course, I'll be creative and we'll look, if this is our reality, it's our reality, but I want to be very transparent. This is what's at risk. And the leadership, it was a very pragmatic decision, but it took me a while to learn that approach. Sales in a way has it easy because they have quotas. And if your quotas from your reps don't add up to the number you need to get, what do? You hire more reps. You can't do that with marketing. You don't have that same marketing, like, I need you to do 400 activities today, which translates to X in pipeline. It's just a lot harder to quantify. So I've learned you just have to take a very X and O approach to marketing. There's a creative side to marketing. There's a quantitative side. There's the data-driven side. There's the executive side. You have to know when to pull on those. You still have to be great at marketing, great at storytelling, great at standing apart, but you also have to think pragmatically like a business leader and understand marketing's just a part of the equation when it comes to what your company's trying to achieve.
You're speaking music to my ears, and it's, y'all, being a CMO is hard. Matt's giving you a masterclass on what you need to consider if you've never been one, or you've been out the game for a minute and you're trying to get back in it. Like, there's levels to this thing, to success, and staying at the success level. If you surpass 2 years with an org,
the role of product marketing,
done better than most, just literally by just surviving alone. But we don't want you to just survive. We want you to thrive and actually enjoy being in the role. I mean,
yeah,
yes, a lot changed. We don't don't want to scare you away. We don't want you to freak yourself out. And hey, you're among friends. If you are a CMO, join the table.
100%.
Like, hey, we get it. We understand.
We got room for you.
We understand.
Yeah.
But two things you screamed out that I'm going to reverberate is that, yes, if you have the right environment where a CEO and the executive team understands marketing, you're at a better chance, which means ask the key questions in the interviews, ask the key questions when the off conversations, lean in and making sure that you understand this business, not just the role. The job description is great, but if you don't understand the industry, you don't understand how they're navigating in the industry and the big game. I think one of the things that when this one org was, I understood merger and acquisition. That was the end game. We want to sell the company. So as much money as we make, we want to be appealing to higher ups to want to buy us. That means we not only need to be polarizing, we need to be disruptive enough, but not doing too much where people don't feel like they don't want to acquire. That was the end game for the CEO. That was the end game. I built this. I put all my time and effort into it. Troy, gosh darn it, I want to be out in the next 5 years. We got them out in 2. All because we focus marketing to be very aggressive to an ideal buyer, which is totally separate than just getting customer acquisition. Completely different process. And then merger acquisition can be a long time depending on who. Hold on, conversation on the day.
Great example.
Yes. My point is you have to understand these things to be successful. And if you know more of that coming into the situation, you can reverse engineer it to make yourself successful and get a good payout. When you do your job well, I think the money will come. The second point I'd make, I managed a company once that literally had about 3,700 employees globally. And my team locally was about 20 staff, but over and all remotely combined was probably 150. Plus or minus 50 different times, 20 different languages. Make sure the languages match up the same intent and sentiment that we're trying to create across the board. Hardest thing, and AI wasn't as prevalent. So we did it all by hand. I know people forget those things where you have to think through every little thing by your own brain power, but we got through it. We got through it. My point in saying this is that if you're trying to be on this level, you have to think beyond your skill sets and your talent. And you do need the right team. Everyone spoke different languages. Everyone had different acumens of marketing and business and branding and social and creative, and you need the right environment. And our job was to help the sales team be more effective and create new assets across the board to even give you a chance at success. It's not just about managing people. You got to know how to motivate people. What good is having the best talent ever that money could buy that you could afford, but you can't pick up on the cues that this person needs a vacation. They're burnt out. They don't have any more time to pull anything else from you. They need a break. What can we do to pivot to make sure this works?
DTC Pod, hosted by Ramon and Blaine, is brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. The DTC Pod is a podcast about all things direct to consumer, aka DTC. Ramon and Blaine cover everything for starting, growing, and optimizing e-commerce stores and direct-to-consumer brands. They talk with founders, marketers, platforms, creators, and marketing and growth agencies to cover topics like brand building, social media, influencer marketing, website conversion, paid media, Facebook ads, consumer trends, email marketing, and so much more. They have episodes like 360-degree brand growth, how premium brands crack the UK, optimize their funnels, or from clicks to bricks, how digitally native brands go massive in retail. If you're interested in the stories behind your favorite consumer brands, this podcast is for you. Listen to DTC Pod wherever you get your podcasts.
So, Matt, from your perspective, how have you, put CMO aside from it, just how have you as a person connected and lead a team? Are you a personal driven where you tell them the big stories and get very vulnerable? Are you a little separate? And I think I have an idea, but how do you actually lead your team?
I love sports. I'm a huge sports guy. So a lot of times I think about from like the lens of a coach, and there's coaches, and there's players coaches, and there's coaches who have great talent, but don't know how to motivate and get the best out of their talent. There's coaches, I always think about the Miami Heat. Miami Heat has good players, but not the best players. But every year they're good because Spoelstra, I think, he's the current coach. He gets the most out of that team. And I often will study what they do and how they operate. For me personally, don't get me wrong, I'm not putting myself on a pedestal by any means. I've learned and grown, and I still stumble along the way. But where I'm at today and what I believe to be working is, one, it starts with setting clear expectations during the interview process. So again, people have a clear sense of what they're walking into. In the same way you were just encouraging marketers out there to ask the tough questions. It's not that I'm asking the tough questions, but it's more, hey, I want to be clear, make sure you're clear on what you're walking into. This is our situation. This is your reality. If you don't want this job, fine. But I want to make sure that you know what you're getting into. And so when you come here and you've handshook that this is what's expected, that we're on the same page. And it's not authoritarian or whatever. It's more just, this is our reality. Like, I need you to do the job of 4 people. We're going to have to decide, to what degree you're focusing here. I'm not asking anyone to work 100 hours a week by any means. We have to be realistic. So it starts with setting expectations. For me, though, kind of day to day, I take an approach of, I am a player coach. And part of that is the world that we live in. It's really hard to be a marketing leader and not be. To me, that keeps me grounded. And I love getting my hands dirty. I love getting in the mix. I lead from the front. I'm on the road a lot because I'm meeting with customers. I'm out in front of customers, and I want to be grounded in that. I want to demonstrate to my team the importance of that, because a lot of times they've not had that experience or opportunity. And so I work to create the same opportunity where if you're on my team and you're not comfortable getting in front of customers, we need to work towards that, because that's really important. So that's one. And then two, and this is where I've grown as well, is just, it's not all about work. I love work. I'm passionate about work. I want my company to be successful. I want to be personally successful to set my family up for success. People have lives. People have aging parents. People have kids who get sick. People have things they want to celebrate and things they need to mourn. It's not that I need to be. I want to be. I want to be empathetic to the reality of their situation. Again, I don't do this because I'm like, oh, this is a lever I can pull to make them work harder. I genuinely want people to experience life, because that makes them show up better at work when they do. If they have time off, you are off work. Now, I struggle with that. When I'm off work, I'm like, ooh, what's that email? But for my team, like, take the time. If you need a day, my team, I'm like, because they'll say, hey, I've got a doctor's appointment at 2:00. I'm like, cool, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Or, hey, it's Friday. Do you have any meetings today? No. Go enjoy the day. It's one of the last days of the summer. Go enjoy it. Again, I'm not perfect by any means. I'm not trying to say that, but I try to be dialed in enough. I know what's going on in my employees' personal lives enough to where I know the right questions to ask. And again, I'm not doing this because it's a lever to pull as much as I care about my team. Do I want it to be successful? Yes. And I understand my team is a critical part of that. So there's a science to it as well. But I think, Jen, just show up, be a good person. That helps you become a better leader. Be transparent. Sometimes I wonder if I'm too transparent, but I hire people that I can trust. I work with adults and I share things, and I want them to feel like they are part of the journeys. They see the challenges, and it helps them understand what I'm going through and what I'm wrestling with. And then frankly, I get more out of them because they're like, hey, let us help you. Or, hey, can we think about something differently? Can we take something off your plate? So just try to be really transparent and open and honest with them and trust them as adults. And so far it's not got me in trouble and it's worked out, but that's generally how I approach leadership.
Matt, is very refreshing, your take, and I think the audience will feel sincerely, genuinely, we can tell you're being real and honest about it, not being fake at all. And I'm sure if we call on your team, they'd say 100% that's Matt Hummel. That's how he rolls. Like, that's what we're doing. And I think we need more of that. I think sometimes when it only is just the goals, it doesn't matter. And again, these little nuggets of just, wow, will actually drive people to do more than they ever could imagine for you, for themselves, and for the team and the work. Everyone benefits just by creating those little pockets of sunshine and just making people realize, like, we actually care. Like, yes, we need to get these goals, but there's wiggle room. It doesn't have to be that black and white. It doesn't have to be today. It could be tomorrow. And if sometimes I got to take a little heat, just say, hey, it's going to be done Monday.
Yep.
If it was that critical and probably so many variables that went wrong that said we have to get it done by this date, I think we can push it back just to give people more time to breathe and live. And I think, everyone says work-life balance is a myth, that it's not possible. Leaders make that possible. The good ones, great ones, and the best ones make that where that's not a friction. It's an incentive. It's already built into the pipeline and process of how you lead, how you, engage, and how you make things happen. Because you don't put for unrealistic timelines, number one, for people to do. You add the cushion, and then before you even bring it to the table, the proposals and the sprints to the table, you add the cushion in there for variables like that. Because if you get it done earlier, you're a wizard, you're glorious, you're great. And if you don't get it done at that time, you're still on time because you add the cushion at the beginning.
100%. I've been going through my early, plans with my team for FY26, and I had a guy on my team, he shows me his plan, and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. This seems like a lot. You're the only guy doing this work. And I said, I'm going to take you back to when I was leading strategy at Thomson Reuters. And I said, I would ask 2 questions of my strategist. I would say, does this plan achieve your objectives? And is this plan achievable? And I said, I'm going to ask you the two questions. And he said, yes, this plan achieves my objectives. And I said, is it achievable? And he's like, no. And I said, well, then you need to go rework it because this is what you're signing up to do. And I'm going to hold you accountable to it. And if this is what it takes to deliver on the objectives, then we either need to rethink the objectives or we need to see if there's some efficiencies to be gained, or I need to go find you some additional resource support to achieve these objectives. But none of those were risks that this individual highlighted. I'm not knocking him. I love the guy, great guy, but he just hadn't thought about that. He was like, no, I have to put a plan together and this is the plan and we need to get it done. And I'm like, look around. There's no one else here to help. So we have to be creative. We have to be thoughtful. And it's that whole idea, like work-life balance that comes through setting people up for success. I believe as a leader, setting and managing expectations. If that's one of the most important things you can do as a leader for yourself, but also for your team.
Man, this conversation was better than I already knew to expect. We've gone through so many things, personal, professional. We've had a whole masterclass on CMO. How are you going to get there? How are you going to stay there? And how are you going to grow and scale? Clearly, if you want to learn more about Matt Hummel, all the links will be in the show notes. Pipeline360, his podcast, our episode, everything and more will be in the show notes of this recording. Please click on them. I'm not selling you anything. If anything, I'm giving the opportunity to get additional value because Matt's dropping game all the time, every time. And you need to be on with him. You need to follow him on LinkedIn and reach out. You never know. Do you want him on his podcast? You want him to speak? Like, hey, I'm all about evangelizing, being an advocate for other people to get their money, get their bag, and support their business and their brands. So it's all for that. And I want to close out on this note. I've been workshopping it. Are you ready to run? And yes, it's not. We're going to talk about some real unfiltered nuggets. I find that many times I do an interview, we turn the recording off and then it's just another just amazing, more real stuff to say after. So we're going to imagine we're going to just turn the record button off, but still say with what we can say with
Take a deep breath. We're off.
You know, relax. Sure, what I really was going to say was this. Man, the state of marketing right now. What is the thing that is, dare I say it, making you angry or frustrating you, or you're tired of hearing? Like, what is that for you?
That's a great question. I think marketers are really struggling with doing more with less. I hear it all the time and I see the angst and I see the frustration. I feel it too. When I got my budget this year, it was flat and yet we're expected to grow as a business. I'm like, oh, this is what I've been talking to my customers about. Okay, this is an opportunity. Look at how you're spending your time, your money, how you're utilizing your team. Because I know what our end game is and I know we have to be smart on where we invest and the decisions we make. But what's frustrating me? What's frustrating me is that marketers haven't grasped the fact that this isn't changing. We're not growth at all costs anymore. I'm sorry that you don't have the money you want to do all the things that you want to do. But guess what? That's the world we live in as marketers. So quit complaining and do something about it. So since the microphone's off, I'll be direct. That's what I feel like. I'm like, guys, you've been saying this now for 3 or 4 years. It's not changing. So if it's not changing, you need to change. And guess what? As marketers, we've gotten accustomed to MarTech bloat. We spend on things that we shouldn't. We're automating everything and pretend personalizing everything. But in reality, we're just overcomplicating the process. Get back to the basics. Know your customers. Do the things that matter. Not only will you be fine, but you'll actually start enjoying your job more because you'll realize, I feel like I'm doing marketing again, not managing 20 platforms and trying to be a technologist. So stop complaining. Be creative. Spend time with your customers, get back to doing real marketing.
Unfiltered marketing with Matt Hummel sounds phenomenal, and I'm here for it, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you for being on the show. The last thing I'd say to your point is that we got to accept this reality. I don't think we can say, since COVID, this happened, the pandemic, this is what it is. It sucks, and not for you, for everybody. What are we going to do about it? This is the cards that we're dealt. This is the budget we got. It's up to you now to not make miracles happen, but get momentum going again.
Yep.
And the first step is accepting and acknowledging this is what it is now. This is what marketing has evolved into, who we have to engage with, how we have to interact, the ways of how we did marketing, of what worked. If I so focused on how paid ads was working and making millions off cheap dollars and all this stuff, and now we got to navigate, content to build GEO and everything else now, I'll be like, oh my God, but that's not reality. And I'll say this too, if we're being unfiltered, y'all, a new product, software, service, or anything AI powered generated alone is not going to solve your problems and make your life easier.
Preach. Preach.
so sick of you thinking, if I just spend the money and put all my eggs into this new agency or this new product alone, it still requires human interaction, trial and error, and failure to figure out the right combination to make anything work once, and then sustainability over time.
Troy, it's no different. It's no different than technology. People thought if I just had this one software before AI was the thing, I just need this. You get it and you're like, oh, this takes work. This takes time to manage. I got to test. I got to optimize. I got to iterate all that. Yes, you do. Guess what? You may not have even needed that technology because you know what you didn't start with? A strategy. You just heard, if I have this software, I can do all this. Do you even need that software to achieve what you're trying to do? Oh, you never asked that question. Guess what? AI, Gen AI, an agency, not going to help. Those are not the end. Those are means to an end. But if you don't know the end, to your earlier point, it's not going to make a difference.
I'll say this and I'm done. I call it the Costco effect. Y'all, I've never went to Costco till a few weeks ago. And I'm like, I understand. I wasn't impressed. I get it. No shade to Costco. No shade if you're a Costco loyalist, you got your card there like it's your ID. I understand. But it's forcing you to just buy things that you may not even need. That takes up a ton of space that if you didn't watch might be expired. And you just psychologically look how much I'm saving. Yeah, if you're going to actually use it all. If you're actually going to use it all. But if you don't use it and it just takes up more space and you just buy stuff because you think you're cheaper, but you're actually paying more, is it really benefiting you? Really? Same thing with our technology. Same thing with your playbook. Same thing with your process. It's great to have a certain volume of team members. But like some of my best experiences in my career has been with small, lean, capable individuals that's fluid, that's flexible. There's no bloat. We learn and Matt, you'll get this. I know you will. It's one of the greatest feelings you can as a leader experience. It's seeing someone who came in a certain way and evolve and grow and do things beyond what they thought were capable under your watch. Not that you were the reason it happened. You just created the environment and gave them the belief system to actually do it. And they did. That is one of the greatest moments I've ever had in executive leadership and managing teams, was seeing that. And then they may go off and be their own director, their own CMO, and evolve. Like, how'd that happen? And it's like, again, sports world here, you're a football coach and you're creating that tree of other people who become coaches. Like, look how many people have evolved and you have a whole system. I love that feeling. It's one of the greatest feelings as a leader.
Oh, just wait till you see it with Skylar. Game over.
Oh, for those
Game
who
over.
Came later in this conversation, Skylar's my daughter. For those who don't know, I've been out of the game for a minute. Had a daughter. Like, come on, life is life. And I was echoing earlier to Matt. He was one of the last people I literally talked to before I went into my whole ecosystem of just being alone and navigating this with Yvette. And here we are, and coming out of it. Matt's one of the first people I've actually talked to since. So full circle. And I think it's made me a better person. I've always been very empathetic with parents and things like that, but I feel like now I'm like, get it.
I get it.
Get it. Those little nuggets of just allowing that. Oh, gosh.
It only gets better. That's awesome.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you. I've already echoed it in the show notes, but is there any key things you want people to know or key things you want people to go to? The floor is yours.
No, I mean, you built me up in ways I could never do myself. I appreciate. Yeah. If you're interested in being on my podcast, it's the Pipeline Brew. Check it out, subscribe, listen to it. If you want to be a guest, hit me up on LinkedIn, connect with me. Would love to meet all of your amazing guests, Troy.
I have a few people in mind I think would be really dope for your show, but we're gonna talk that offline. But anyway, you all, it's another great episode of I Digress. I hope you like this new direction. I hope you enjoy this masterclass episode. And if you get a chance, follow Matt Hummel, follow Pipeline360, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed this episode of I Digress. What was your takeaway? Care to share your thoughts and tag Troy on social media? You can find him on all platforms at Find Troy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review or comment for this episode from wherever you're listening. Looking for a marketing strategist to build the structure, strategies, and systems you need to get the success you want and the ROI you desire in your business? Book a discovery call to talk with Troy at findtroy.com. And as Troy's philosophy goes, imagination is the engine, content is the fuel, social media is the highway, marketing is the roadmap, sales is the destination, culture is the GPS. Thanks for listening.